Hi Silem stars, you're welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm going to show you how I sewed this beautiful crisscross bustier with keyhole neckline. So if you want to see how we do this, definitely keep on watching.
Oh, hey, I didn't see you there.
So in my last video, I showed you how I drafted this beautiful piece from start to finish. So if you haven't seen that video, please check it out because it will help you to understand the drafting process of this piece. So what I simply did was after drafting, I simply transferred to my fabric and added 1/2 inch all the way around. And as you can see, I fused my piece with my interfacing. I used hairstay and then I also used wording as well. Okay, I came down by 1 inch from the top. Okay, that's by the edge, just so that the wording doesn't get all the way up. For the side pieces, the side front pieces, I also padded the bust area. Okay, so now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and sew. Now I'm placing the two front pieces together and then I'm going to join them together. Okay, I'm joining both front pieces with 1/2 inch seam allowance. So after joining it, this is what we have right now. Can you see? Now I'm going to place the side pieces together. I'll start with one side piece. I'll join from the bottom all the way to the top. And when you get to the curved part, just take it gently and move your pieces so that you still maintain the 1/2 inch seam allowance even while you're sewing along those curves. Okay, so this is what it looks like once I've joined one of the side pieces. I'll do the same thing for the other side as well. Place them right sides facing, and I'm going to start from the bottom and sew all the way to the top with 1/2 inch seam allowance. Once I'm done, this is what we have. Can you see how lovely it looks already? So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it now to the wrong side, and then I'm going to create notches all along the allowance. So just create notches all along the allowance. Take your time to do this, especially where you have the curved parts, and then open the seams, the allowances, and then iron it flat. So as you can see, I opened the allowance and I ironed it flat. Okay, for the curved area of the bust, you can use your bust ham to iron it flat so that it stays very flat. Okay, you want everything to be nice and neat. So now I did the same exact thing with my lining. Okay, I cut the lining the same way and I joined it the same way I did for my fabric. So now it's time for us to turn the fabric with the lining. So I'm just placing both pieces right sides facing like this. Then I've just gone ahead to pin everything round. Now I'm going to sew along that U shape, and then I'm also going to sew the sides as well. Okay, so as you can see, I'm just sewing along the sides, starting from the top of the neckline to where I have that shoulder piece. So from the top of the neckline, I'm sewing all the way down. I'm also sewing the sides closed as well. I'll do the same thing for the other side, and then I'm now going to sew in that, the inner part where I have that keyhole neckline as well. I'll also sew there as well, and I'm using 1/4 inch seam allowance to join the pieces together. You don't need to use up to 1/2 inch. Okay, no need for that. You can use just 1/4 inch to join them together. After joining, I'm going to join the inner part. Okay, so that U shape where I have that keyhole. Okay, So after joining it, this is what we have. Can you see? So now I'm going to turn this now to the right side. Okay. So for the back pieces, I'm just placing them right sides facing. Then the first thing I'm going to do is to join the neckline with 1/4 inch seam allowance. So I place the fabric and the lining right sides facing, and then I've joined the neckline with 1/4 inch seam allowance. Now I'm opening it up and then I'm top stitching, making sure that the lining, the allowance that I got is facing the lining. Okay. Make sure that the allowance is facing the lining, and then you top stitch on the lining on the right side. So after doing that, I'm turning it back to the wrong side. I'm going to sew the two sides closed. I'm also going to sew the armhole closed as well. Okay. Remember that this piece is not going to have any sleeve. So I'm closing up the armhole so everything is nice and neat. Then once we're done with that, I'll turn it to the right side. I did the same thing for the other back piece. Then after that, I ironed it and placed the two back pieces right sides facing. Now I'm going to join both back pieces with 1 inch allowance. So this is my zipper allowance. So I'm just using a loose stitch because I'm still going to open this up later and put in my zipper. Okay, so I just joined it with 1 inch seam allowance. So I'll open this up and then I'm going to impute my darts. So for the darts, I already marked where my darts are supposed to be. I marked it from the pattern paper. Okay, so just transfer your darts from the pattern paper to the fabric. So this is what the back piece looks like. Okay, so you can see it's very nice and neat. For the front piece, I've gone ahead to also turn it to the right side and then I ironed it very flat. Okay, now I'm going to place the shoulders together and then I'm going to join them. So I'm going to join the shoulders with 1/2 inch seam allowance. Then after joining the shoulder, I'm going to use a piece of the lining to just pipe that allowance so that the allowance is neat. Okay, you can also weave the allowance if you prefer. And as you can see, I've piped it. Now I'm going to move that allowance to the back. Okay, move it to the back and then top stitch it so that that shoulder area is flat. It doesn't have that bulk of the allowance. So can you see what it looks like now? And then the final thing we're going to do now is just to join the sides with our actual measurements. Okay, so I'm going to use my client's measurements to just join the sides. So mark your bust and the waist and then join the sides. You can also loosen the zipper allowance and put in your zipper. Okay, I also joined mine to the skirt part, which is a full flare with gathers as well, and the skirt part also has a basque waistline. Okay, so that's basically it for this tutorial. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all in my next video. Bye.